right, and hack. Welcome everybody to the Queens of Nerdom episode 19. I am Tay, half of the Queens of Nerdom.
I'm Jen, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have we have JJ Stingray.
I just want that sound clip to play every time I come into just Tay going. Purr, 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 purr.
She has her own
You got
fanfare.
Yes.
So our awesome friend Jen is here with us today. And we have all sorts of fun stuff that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Dune 2.
Ooh.
Or I should say part 2. It's not Dune 2. It's part 2.
Yeah.
I may have some horror news if you guys are interested. We'll see. I'll take a... Yeah.
Are you guys on right now?
Yes.
Hey, Eric.
Samuel.
Hi.
But anyways, how about that intro?
Let's go with that intro.
I hope we never ever change that intro.
Oh God, we will not.
That was the most legitimate intro of like any podcast I've ever been on. I'm like sitting here. I don't know if y'all can see me, but I'm just like, I fucking love this.
I saw you dancing a little bit. I saw.
I'm like, I'm here for this. Like, yes. Show my girl Wonder Woman. I'm a happy camper. I'm a good spot.
That's actually our whole reason why we have that intro is because we wanted to showcase some of the queens that we really enjoy and like because we're the Queens of Nerdom and they're nerdy queens, so we like it. I'm so glad that you liked it too. All right, so we're going to go into our shot. It's shot o'clock. Shots. Ayo.
Shot glass, but it's shoddy.
All right. I am taking a shot out of my Fallout 4 shot glass here.
Oh, nice.
And I am taking a shot of Crown Vanilla. Jen.
Nice. I have my Drink Up Witches as my my go-to shot glass, and as always, I have my rum.
I love that. JJ, what you drinking?
So I'm drinking an amino energy because we have so little alcohol in the house right now. Otherwise, I would be taking a legitimate shot, but we've got like nothing. So amino energy it is.
Works.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be taking a shot towards freedom and growth as always, because we are continuing to grow in episode 19 already. It's insane. I have a fruit fly in here apparently. But here we go. What are you taking a shot to?
I'm going to take a shot to Jen. Thanks for coming on with us and sharing in your nerdiness. I hope that other chicks see that it's okay to be nerdy and to come hang out with us. And yeah, nerd life.
I love it.
To JJ.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, Jennifer, what are we talking about?
Well, we have. Do you guys want some horror news?
I would love some horror news.
Okay, I have a little bit of horror news.
Ooh, are we going into horror news right now?
Do you want to?
I would love to. I'm gonna go.
I'm down.
Okay.
Horror.
Guys have the best transitions.
Thank you.
I'm just so impressed right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like, I just want the whole show to be transitions now. Like, what else you got? Just
don't worry.
Oh,
we got more.
Several. We have several. Me, Kemba, and I are friends.
Yes.
So, some horror news. So, Blumhouse has a movie named Imaginary. I don't know if you guys have watched it, heard anything about it. It arrived to streaming on Amazon, Apple, Google Play, and it's a story about a little girl who develops an eerie attachment to a stuffed bear named Chauncey. Their relationship starts off playful and soon becomes very sinister. This is actually starring DeWanda Wise. So if you remember her, she's that pilot from Jurassic World Dominion is in there. So at first glance, I see this and I was like, a horror movie about a teddy bear? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, pass. But then I saw a picture of the monster and I was like, oh, I'm like, that monster looks awesome. It looks like a giant monster teddy bear and I freaking love it. So,
like, now I'm gonna have to like look this up.
You have to look it up.
I do remember the trailer about this. I didn't really like look at it and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." But what was that? Oh, Megan. Did you ever see Megan?
Yeah.
Oh, with the doll.
Yeah. So at first
I
it
never
was like,
did.
"Oh, girl, it was good."
Was it? Because I heard
Yeah.
such mixed reviews. Like, I feel like it's one of those really like dividing movies where you either really love it or you really fucking hate it.
Yeah, I could see that. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with JJ. Like at first I was like, oh, really? So I had to watch it for a podcast because we were reviewing it. And I watched it and my husband Eric and I were like, actually wasn't that bad. It's actually a really good movie. Like it actually like ended up being pretty good. Like we were surprised. Like Eric says, like monsters can really make a movie. So does the trailer in Imaginary, does it show the monster?
I literally just looked up pictures of the monster.
Do you see it? It looks like a monster teddy bear.
Fucking terrifying. Like, holy crap. Oh.
And I was like, as soon as I saw the monster, and I was like, okay, I have to talk about this now because now I don't think it's like a monster little Chucky teddy bear like, attacking little kids. So that's on streaming if you guys want to watch that. Now another movie I want to talk about is Late Night with the Devil. Now it's filmed in a found footage kind of way, which I'm not always a huge fan of. Like if you're going to do found footage, I want it to be done in a better way. Like if you start having like the jostling of the camera, like I'm just gonna barf and not want to watch the movie. But if you do it in a good way, I'm here for it.
You also get motion sickness? Because I do.
I'm kind of touch and go. Like I remember as a kid, like we used to play Doom on my dad's Commodore 64, and there was only so much I could play before I want to like ralph my guts out. But I mean, I can handle a little bit, but after a while, I'm like, I'm definitely a third person kind of point of view player in video games because first person makes me want to ralph. Anyways, side note about Jen. So, Late Night with the Devil is now in theaters, and it's going to be coming to Shudder. If you guys subscribe to Shudder, I believe it's April 22nd, I think. It takes place Halloween night in 1977, when in a cult-themed episode of a popular show takes a dark turn during a live broadcast. It's starring, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, David Dastmalchian. So he was
great.
actually, thank you. I try to pronounce people's names right. So he was actually the polka dot man on Suicide Squad, and then he also was on that dude. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Dude.
He's so weird. I love him. He's got that creepy face. I love it.
Obscure roles. It's just I love him.
And he does such a good job with the roles being so obscure. You know what I mean? Like he really does such a great job. So this one kind of looks like maybe like a possession type of movie. I'm kind of speculating a little bit. That's what it looks like to me. But but yeah, I recommend it if you guys like that sort of thing. Anything like Exorcist kind of thing is kind of up my alley, so I'm a little biased in my recommendation. Just saying.
What was this one called again?
Late Night with the Devil. Late Night with the Devil.
I'm taking notes.
And then Netflix actually announced recently that they're in production of season 7 of the Black Mirror. They're teasing that one of the episodes is a sequel to the USS Callister from season 4. If you guys didn't watch that, it's kind of like a Star Trek spoof. So if you're Black Mirror fans, they're in production, season 7. So I'm a big fan of Black Mirror. So
I love how Black Mirror actually makes you think about like how far off society is right now to be where it can be for Black Mirror. Because it's really not that far off, and it's crazy. It's wild.
No, like even like the first episode, it kind of reminded me of it's a movie that Robin Williams was in. Where they actually can like record your entire life. Like they have like something implanted in your head. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves. But basically, I think I remember the first episode. It wasn't the first. Maybe it was like the second and the third. Because I think the first one was about the prime minister.
The pig.
And the pig.
Yeah. The one that most people can't get past. Yeah.
I got. Not gonna lie, I haven't gotten further than that.
The pig thing. Yeah.
You just gotta just get past that. And
I know. I need to just sit and binge because I know it's good. It looks incredible, but like I'm also the biggest pussy in the world, so it's catch-22.
There's definitely some episodes of that are like that first one that's a little bit less than tasteful, or as AD put it, yikes, is definitely what I would that one I didn't enjoy the first episode, but the subsequent episodes have been like I've liked them. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the rest of them? Or
I definitely do like the Black Mirror episodes with the little mind device thing, because like, and exactly what AD just said, it really is scary and uncomfortable with how close to reality.
I think that's why I like can't bring myself, because that's like you said, Tate, like the fact that we're not that far off from it is even more scary than like any imaginary monster or whatever. It's like No,
Ooh,
that's kind of in the
that's
realm of
cool.
possibility now, and that
Right.
kind of sucks.
Exactly like with I don't know if you guys have ever seen Handmaid's Tale.
Girl, are you
Because
serious?
yes.
Another one that
Ye-
like I haven't caught up on because it just makes me so fucking uncomfortable.
You mean the
Yes.
society that we're living in right now? Or am I getting too political?
Yeah,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. It's not
Sorry.
so far off from
Sorry.
where we are right now. And it just kind of reminds me of that just because of like how close it is. And yes, Eric, I do see you in the comments talking about Willy's Wonderland.
Oh,
Listen,
God damn it.
I love that movie just because Nicolas Cage was hilarious to me with
Nicolas Cage.
the amount of
absolutely.
lines that he actually had, which was like fun. So
He did that one perfectly.
I
No.
enjoyed it. But don't
that
worry,
movie.
Eric. I understand that I owe you a drink for that, and I will be giving it to your wife instead while she is here.
Drink it for you. Oh, that movie was called The Final Cut.
The
Final Cut with Robin
Okay.
Williams. I had to look on good old reliable Uncle IMDb. So that was the one with Robin Williams where they had like these filming devices where it films your whole life, and then they make like a movie about you after you die to play it like
Vaguely remember that. Like,
Do you-
isn't there
okay.
like a scene where he's like looking at himself in the mirror and it's like recording? And like,
Yes.
I feel like
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
picture it perfectly. I'll
Yeah.
have to
Did you ever
revisit
see
that.
Beau is Afraid?
Ooh.
Beau is Afraid. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, and it's actually kind of just like that, where a movie is being like made from his life. So it was really interesting.
I was afraid. No, I didn't. Write that one down. I haven't heard that one. Okay.
It's a 3-hour movie, so just gonna let you know that now. It is a longer
I ain't
movie.
scared. Girl, I binge watch Harry Potter and stuff. I ain't scared. I ain't scared. It's good, but it's 3.5 hours. No, I appreciate the heads up though, knowing that it's gonna take a majority of my afternoon, but yeah, I ain't scared.
But you can pause it at home and then like go get drinks, make some popcorn,
Yes.
Do the things.
Right. And at least if you're invested, it's not going to feel like 3.5 hours. Like,
true.
So,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Because there are some movies that are an hour and a half, and it feels like a large part of my life because they've been so painful to like sit through. But yeah,
100%.
right. So if some of you want to stay home and stream horror, I have some recommendations. So if you remember the 1988 The Blob with Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith, if you remember her from Saw, is going to be on Tubi. And then we also have my personal favorite zombie movie is the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, starring Sarah Polley. Vig Rhames is on Netflix. Is, like I said, one of my favorite zombie movies. Love it. Love it. Love it. And then if you're in the mood for some boobies.
Boobies!
Always!
Boobies. Slumber Party Massacre, 1982. All right. Starring, I don't know any of these people. I have no idea who any of these people are. I was like, oh, what are these? I've never seen any. I went through a lot of the cast. I'm not going to lie, guys. I went through IMDb and I was like looking through the cast and I was like, the fuck are these people? I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I'm like, okay, whatever. It will be on AMC Plus, AMC Plus and Shudder. It's kind of funny, but yes, right, Mark. So if you're in like, yeah, there's lots of boobies and like shower scenes and.
Now I didn't see the first one of this because I don't have AMC or the other one that you said, but I think I saw number 2, just as much boobies in there as well. I do believe that it is it. I do believe that number 2 is on it's on Amazon Prime.
So Slumber Party Massacre 2 is on Amazon Prime.
I'm almost 100% sure because it's on one of the ones that I have, and I think it's either Prime or it might be Hulu. It might be one of the two, but I saw it. And is there another one after?
Girl,
2?
there's 3. As far as I
Are
know,
you
there's 3.
serious?
I would just stop going to slumber parties. Stop going.
After the first one, it's the same thing with like The Purge or whatever. Like, why open up your door if you're staying at home? Like, don't open your door. Don't let people in. Like, why?
That's where it gets incredibly unrealistic, because if anyone is knocking at my door, there's no way in hell I'm answering it. No.
Dude. Okay.
So unrealistic. Just saying.
I haven't seen all of the okay, we're gonna talk about Purge, okay. I haven't seen all of the Purge movies, but the ones I've seen, like I saw the newest one that they did on Netflix, which actually was really good. Made a lot of sense, honestly. And like a lot of the ones with what was his name? Was it Bullseye? Somebody help me. Frank
I don't
something.
remember what.
I can't remember that guy's name that was on the Winter Soldier. Wasn't Bullseye? Dutch? No, not Dutch. Fuck. Anyways.
No, that's DC.
Yeah, I'm like, that's DC. Fuck, that's Will Smith. Anyways, he was the one starring in it, and seriously, like after a while, like I would just move. Frank Grillo, thank you, Kimpachi. You got me, bro. Yes, Mark's got me too. Thank you so much. Oh, it was Frank something.
I was literally pulling it up. I'm like, the fuck is his name?
Like, it's Frank. I can see his face in my face, in my head. His face is in my face. It's like right there. And like I really liked a lot of those movies, but when they first did it, I think it was the new one that they did on Netflix is based on them kind of testing it. And it was kind of secluded to like Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely swayed to the point where not to ruin it for people, but they ended up hiring mercenaries because a lot of the people, instead of the second Purge, was called Election Year. Yes, you're right, Mark. That was a good one too. Like I remember watching that one too. I was distracted by Frank Grillo's boobies. I don't remember seeing his boobies, Eric. Was his boobies in it?
Were his anywhere near as impressive as anyone from Slumber Party Massacre? Because I don't care if not.
Like there's tons of boobies in that one. Okay,
we have options. We don't need Frank's titties.
No, we don't.
We need the tasteful titties. The TTs.
Yes. the TT. Can we get that on a shirt, please?
We can make that happen. We know somebody. We know somebody.
I totally, like when Kimpachi said this, I read this as Minities, but Moonies are good too.
Movies?
What you
those would be movies. Movies. Oh.
Like man
movies with boobies?
Like man. Man boobies.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Were you today years old?
Yes, today I was years old when we know the movie. Okay. Sorry, I learned something. Do you guys think?
Oh, good.
But anyways, I highly recommend the one that's on Netflix. If you guys are into it. All right. Sorry, brobies. I like Eric's brobies. Oh man, we're sorry, guys.
I'm here for that.
If you guys
he
didn't
said
know,
that the Election Year was the third one. The second one was called Anarchy for the Purge.
Anarchy. Okay, I don't remember all the names of them, but I remember Frank Grillo being in them, and he did such a good job. I think the very first one they came out with, I think Ethan Hawke was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that because I think he had like a panic room and it didn't work, and yeah, it's like to me that's actually more terrifying because like you like wrong your neighbor and they're like looking at you.
You on the list now.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck, man. Like I pissed off John.
It's like The Office when what's his face comes back and he's like writing down people's names.
Right?
Like crossing people off.
You're on the list now. God damn it.
It's like
I
the
didn't mean to
best
cut you off in
thread.
traffic. So sorry. So sorry.
God.
All right.
Like
So-
5 minutes in.
Girl. So some of you guys might not know this, or you didn't pay attention to Miss JJ's screen name. She is actually a cosplayer.
Ooh.
Oh, so Jen, can you please do you want to start with your screen name first and kind of tell us how that came to fruition?
So, in the real world, I usually go by JJ. It was a family name growing up. And when I was 13, I actually got stung by a stingray on a family trip to Encinitas. It just kind of stuck. It just kind of became the family nickname, and I kind of applied it to everything. Like, it's usually my gamer tag. It's my cosplay name. It's literally the name of my LLC now. So it's just, yeah.
And was this
a big part of my
I'm assuming
life.
this was before the Steve Irwin stingray accident.
Literally.
Mark.
And I was like, wow, I didn't know you could die. And like, so in my mind, I was like, so I narrowly missed death, not realizing that he literally got stabbed in the fucking heart. Like, yeah, anything that stabs you in the heart is gonna kill you.
Kind of done.
But I was under the impression that any kind of stingray sting could potentially kill you. So,
oh my God.
Did you have someone pee on you? Wait.
No.
Okay, good.
No, but then my sister got stung by a jellyfish, and someone did have to pee on her.
Yes, this is true. If you
R.
get
Kelly's
stung-
right there waiting, like, I got you. I'll piss on you.
Oh my God. No, so like with the
obvious.
stingray sting, the thing is it leaves like these protein enzymes in the cut. And that's why it like hurts so bad. So at first I thought I had stepped on like a shard of glass, but I was like boogie boarding like in the water, and my foot came down and just like, and I thought I stepped on like glass or something, but I came up on shore and it hurt more and more and more. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Something like got me. So we went to the lifeguard post, and they have to pour like boiling hot water on your foot essentially, because it was on the bottom of my foot.
Oh my
to
God.
neutralize the protein enzymes. And I was there for 5-6 hours just getting hot water poured on my foot.
What?
Ow. Goddamn. Okay. So your parents decided that this was your dubbed nickname, like for the rest of your life. That
You
that is
earned it.
I
trauma
own the
right
shit
there.
out of it.
I have way more respect
I
for
told
your
you, trauma, man.
screen. Yeah, for sure. My God.
Oh my God. And I thought so my childhood nickname was Meatball. But that was just because I was a short, like fat baby. So they called me Taylor Meatball. For like the longest time. Because I looked like a meatball.
That's so cute.
We're not going to call you Meatball Tay. That's not, no.
Thank
You're
you.
like the female
No.
version of Meatwad. Just
Why don't you take the meat bridge?
Oh my God.
oh my God.
We have to give you like a nickname that related to Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because that's way funnier than Meatball. Meatwad's funny. No one would ever.
No,
Get
I don't think that Meatwad's a good name for a female, but you know. That's just off the
Sorry,
top
put
of my
that
head.
evil on you, Tay.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
All right.
Just get used to laughing. Your face is gonna hurt after this. It's
I
okay.
know.
Your face already hurts.
I didn't plan anything after this because I'm like, how much you want to bet? Like, I'm not gonna be able to breathe through most of like,
So we
fuck.
don't invite asthmatics to the show. They're not welcome because you just can't survive. Apparently.
Survival of the fittest up in Queens.
I was it is. Can you survive my show? So you cosplay. how did you
Yes.
get into cosplaying? Like, tell us about your journey into that.
Oh I love that. My journey into cosplay. So wow, about like 8 years ago now, there's a local group that does like the hospital visits. They dress up like superheroes and they go visit kids and they do all that fun shit. And I saw what they were doing. I'm like, okay, that's like really cool. Like I want to be a part of that. And I saw that like one of my former like high school buddies was like one of the founding members of it. So I messaged him like, okay, what do I do? Like, how can I be a part of this? Because I think that is just the coolest thing. And he's like, well, you submit an application and we go do stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have a costume though. And he's like, well, you just start small. Like you start with what you know, with what you like, which is, probably the biggest piece of advice I could give for anyone who wants to get in cosplay. Just start with what you like. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So I started, Jen, I think I was telling you about this. I started with redheaded characters because I did not want to wear a wig.
Yeah.
They're scratchy.
So my very first character was Black Widow. And I just ordered like pretty much like a black like cat suit off of Amazon. My friend made me like a little foam like.
Oh no, she muted.
Oh no, you muted Jen.
Jen. There's a little mute button. Nope, she's back.
There we go.
I didn't press anything. What the fuck? Okay, it's fine.
He's Ghost in the Shell. Don't worry about it.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Do you have like a little foam thing? Is where you cut off?
Yeah, he made me like a little belt buckle. I had some combat boots. I borrowed like thigh harnesses from a friend, and that was like my first ever costume that I put together. And what was it for? It was so weird. So we went to represent our group at like a business convention. So not even like a Comic-Con, but literally like local businesses were there just showcasing.
So everybody was like wearing suits, and you guys came out and you're like, "Whatcha? Here I am."
Literally.
I love that though.
That's cool.
It was awesome. Like honestly, it was really fun, and like everything after that, like I've been able to work with like Make-A-Wish a few times now, which was like a big like bucket list thing for me.
Oh my god!
And,
awesome.
Yeah, so
I love that.
Now it's a huge part of my life. It's how I met my now husband, and
Oh, that's how you and Nick met?
Yeah, actually, that group. I was actually dating someone else at the time, and when he and I broke all that fun shit, Nick and I became really good friends, and like within the next year we were dating, and here we are 6 years later.
That's so cute. I
love that. Mark actually has a question. What was your best costume?
I feel like that's so subjective because I feel like what I like, not other people liked.
No.
And that's completely fine.
Yeah. What do you think is your best?
Like, what was your favorite thing to dress up as?
So my favorite thing to dress up as right now is probably Captain Carter from the Marvel series.
I love
she's badass, and like it sucks because like the suit doesn't fit like quite as well. So like the last time I wore it, I was like kind of like super uncomfortable.
Oh.
But like I love being that character, and like being able to carry around like a big ass shield is like my favorite part, especially since the one I have is actually metal, so it's like pretty hefty. So when I go to like have someone hold it, they're like, "Oh God, you're actually like really strong. You're holding this," and I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like,
I'll work out.
Try to hit me. Watch this.
Right? Yeah, come at me.
What you didn't know is it's actually made out of like adamantium. So like, of
it's
course
vibranium.
It's
you can really get it in the States.
So I think Eric asked, do you and your cosplay crew attend a lot of conventions? Do you guys still like go as a group? Do you have like a theme that you guys do, or you guys just kind of like, well, I'm going to go as this and we're going, or How do you guys kind of like organize that?
She muted herself again.
Oh no.
Jen.
I'm not doing anything.
No, it's Skynet, man. They're watching you.
And she's muted again. It's
not
like
muted
whenever
now.
you go to
You're good.
talk.
Rude.
My hands are up here. I'm not doing shit. All right.
Safe hands. Safe hands.
Spirit fingers.
But to answer your question, yes, we do a lot of conventions, especially in Arizona. There's so many. Like, oh my god.
I don't know why that keeps happening. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, JJ has some technical difficulties.
No, I can't hear you.
Oh, we hear you though.
Yeah.
Did that work?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We hear you.
Son of
Can you hear us?
I don't think she can hear us.
Oh, okay. Stand by.
Okay, so while she figures that out, Jen, have you ever cosplayed?
No, honestly, like I can't really compare, but like other than like Halloween stuff, I know that 1 year.
Cosplaying.
I guess I kind of so 1 year for Halloween, I think was probably like the true time I cosplayed was yeah, Kaylee's got it. Jazz hands. I cosplayed as our RPG characters. So we were playing a campaign that year, and I was a goddess. I was actually the avatar of a goddess, and I decided to get this goddess get up on, and I basically like covered myself in fucking glitter. Like like anytime you took a picture of me, like I fucking sparkled. Let me tell you, I don't recommend
you
that.
You were a vampire?
Girl, no, I was a goddess. I was not a vampire. I'm a vampire now, but I am not a god. No. Wait, what? No. So I was playing a goddess and or a goddess's avatar, I should say. And I thought it would be cool to like cover myself in glitter. So I got this like glitter powder and it didn't quite have the effect. So you know that like roller glitter that you can get?
Yeah.
So I basically like decided to like highlight myself in that. And my friend's like, no, you should do more glitter. So I basically like glittered like all of my arms and everything. And I like sparkled. So whenever they took a picture, like I sparkled like Edward Cullen from Twilight when they would like fucking take a picture, dude. It was so bad. But I loved it. Like, and like one friend was like a knight and he had this whole get up, and then like another one like had a spear and she was like my guardian. And
no, that's cute. So it was kind of like a group effort type thing.
It was like we all decided to dress up as our RPG characters, and it was a lot of fun. We liked it. Have you ever cosplayed?
Actually, I have.
Ooh, do tell.
When I was little, you know, my mom made all of our Halloween costumes by hand. So there was never like 1 year that we weren't like dressed up and actually like it wasn't like store bought or anything. But the time that I actually did cosplay, it's only been like one time, and then I've worn it for like Halloween. So I feel like I've gotten my money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
But I actually went to a Comic-Con in Memphis, Tennessee, and I went as Harley Quinn. So yeah, it was a corset bodice, and it was like little like underwear, kind of like black and red. So like this side of me was black, this side of me was red, and then the other side was black and red for like the bottom piece.
Oh, so you did like her jester kind of outfit.
Yeah, and I had like the hammer. Yes. So not like the new Harley Quinn.
Where she's basically wearing cheekies.
Yes,
underwear.
Not that. But I did wear nylons underneath it because it was actually quite cold.
Good call.
So yeah, so I wore nylons underneath it, and then these like
Mhm.
black boots, and then
Mm.
I got red spray paint, and I parted my hair down too, so half of it was black because that's what my hair is, and then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spray painted the other half red.
Mhm.
So my scalp was red for a little bit, but it was worth
Don't
it.
mind it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Price we pay for cosplay.
Yeah,
Girl.
absolutely, JJ. Welcome back, by the way.
Technical difficulties. Skynet, Russia, however you
I
want
want
to
to be here
put
with
it.
you.
You're fine. You know, technical difficulties is all a part of the podcast, man. There's sometimes where I swear I'm on like a 3 to 5 second delay and I feel like I'm trying to say something and then interrupt somebody. I'm like, sorry. Sorry.
But what
But
Caitlin said is 100% true. Like, I did my
yeah.
first cosplay, and then I felt like I was addicted, and I
Oh.
really do want to get more into
Yeah.
it. I just don't know what to do. Because there's so many things out there, and with like Cohorty coming out with the with What If, I feel like
Right.
I want to do her at some point.
Girl,
Not
you
like so to
so
speak.
good.
Like I want to dress up.
Yes. Like,
But I definitely did look into it for Phoenix Fan Fusion to like
mhm.
get a get up that she has. It costs like $200. I saw it on Etsy. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But I was just like, that's not something I can do right now.
And that's how it starts. But like you see that stuff and you kind of see like what you can obtain in that time, especially if it's a character that you really like love and resonate with. You're gonna find a way, whether it's like putting crap together in your closet or that's when you start learning how to build and sew, which is literally where Nick and I are, because that's how it started. We started with ones that we could only buy because like he and I are not necessarily like naturally talented in that sense where we can make a costume from like scratch. So we bought everything, but that's how you learn like who's in your community that can help you out with certain parts, that can get you, you know, certain patterns, who knows how to sew those patterns together.
Like fabricate stuff for you. And yeah. Okay.
You become very very innovative when it comes to cosplay. You can find a way.
Yeah.
Like Mark said, I want to make costumes that would take a year to make. Like it's definitely like you're saying, Jen, it's definitely like an investment, you know, like it definitely like taking time because there's some Comic Cons where like there's people who've made like these really elaborate like fabricated like I can't remember what this one was. It was like a demon from like Final Fantasy and he was like on stilts and everything and I was just blown away. Like Eric, my husband's like, yeah, you know, they actually have sponsors and like they pay them to like do that. And I was like, what?
I have a friend that for Blizzard, and she'll actually put together entire like World of Warcraft costumes, and she'll be invited out to like BlizzCon and stuff. And I'm like, that is the freaking dream. Like, Blizzard, because they got no problems.
Screw nursing. I want to do that shit.
Yeah, but like exactly.
Awesome.
That was like in 2019, like literally before like the world shut down. That was kind of the route that I was on. I got to go to WonderCon for the first time because I teamed up with a local comic book artist, and I pretty much went as like his booth babe.
Nice.
That was the
booth babe.
Thing. Yeah, so I dressed up as his character that he had created. Which
I didn't know that was a thing.
But yeah, I'll have to send you guys pictures.
Okay.
It's a blast. Like they paid for our ticket or like our tickets. So like me and my husband got to go for free and I got paid to work at the booth. I'm like, holy crap, people do this for a living? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly. So it's bonkers.
My husband wants to cosplay as a xenomorph. You should.
I've seen some good xenomorphs out there.
Really? Well, I don't get that out that much, but damn.
Like literally, I think it was Amazing Las Vegas Comic Con was the first time I saw a xenomorph. Okay. And I think they had special like custom made the helmet but then everything else was like stuff that they found at Home Depot and just like spray painted black. And you would never freaking know. And it was the coolest thing ever. Yes. That's what I mean by innovation. People, they find a way. Like it's awesome.
I mean, like I'm really big into like special effects and just like certain things on like the xenomorph, like they use like the ribbing on condoms to like make like the tendons on like their jaw. I know, not to be like my 13-year-old boy self, but you know, there's just like certain things like that, like you can learn and like kind of like incorporate into your costume, like, you know, work smarter, not harder kind of things. You know what I mean?
Zombie Power Rangers. I freaking love that.
That is like a really cool idea.
You can see it back here, but I got my Power Ranger.
Oh. We're a collector too.
Oh
no! Oh my god!
Yes.
Totally. So true story. I fucking hate this helmet. It's
Can you actually put it on or
kill it with fire?
Oh, that's kind of why I hate it. It like it's so tiny. Like it probably won't even like cover my hair.
That's even better.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
Oh my god, I love your
and
hair.
Then Nick and I, because before it had clasps, which were insane to try to put on, like literally like clasp in the side. But then one of our innovations, we went through and actually put in magnets so that it snaps.
I love that. And also hair, you know, so you won't clasp your hair. So that's amazing.
I have to wear like a balaclava to like hold all my hair in place. But but it's so tight and my head is so big. My eyelashes like hit the inside of the visor.
Ma'am, you are no mega mind. You're fine. Your head is not giant.
It's
no
mostly
worries.
hair. It's mostly hair. Not gonna lie.
Oh man, that's amazing though.
That is so cool. So what do you guys get into any sort of like fabrication or anything or
that's kind of something that we're looking into now. So kind of during the pandemic, I learned how to sew and I started with like making masks and stuff. And I've just been slowly kind of learning from there. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I want to start learning how to like customize patterns, you know, to my measurements. And I want to teach Nick how to do that. And then I don't know if you guys have seen him posting lately, but he's been really getting into like painting weapons. And that's kind of another route we're trying to go down is like not only like painting, but also kind of building our own. And one of the things I really want to get into is like silicone molding and making our own weapons and possibly like 3D print a lot more of our props moving forward.
That's so cool.
Like the rabbit hole, man, it goes deep. Like, it starts with Halloween costumes, and now we're trying to plan out like a business out of our garage where we can build armor and weapons, and like that's where we are right now.
But that's a hobby, right? Like everybody has their own hobby, and that's amazing.
It's the best hobby. It's the most expensive hobby I've ever had. Don't get me wrong, but it's fun as hell, and we've met some of the best people through it. Get to be, you know, a part of some really cool, not even just like conventions, but even some of the charity like aspects we've gotten to do because of it. Nick's actually been invited out to the red carpet for this last Black Panther movie because he's a Black Panther cosplayer.
Yes.
So, stuff like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was, and that was a trip. Because I couldn't go with him. I still had to work. But they had like the live stream of it. And I remember like screaming and crying whenever they would like pan over to Nick. I'm just like, this is the coolest shit.
Oh my god, that is so awesome though.
That's my man. I remember when that happened because Willie and Kately had him on like this extended show on the Smoke Pit talking about, and he has the most amazing pictures. Like he's got Kim Feige on there. He's got pictures of like Angela Bassett. Like the stuff that you guys do is just I mean, their life goals, like that is just so cool. I love that, you I know you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm learning how to sew." Girl, there's some people that can't sew a fucking button. Like, let's be real. I'm like, you're like, don't downplay that shit. Yeah, see, that's fine, Dote.
And
It's
that's where
fine.
I started, absolutely. Because I'm
Yeah,
like, I can't do this shit. I got
yeah,
people that are making like entire cosplays in a matter of days. I've got so many partially started costumes. It's ridiculous.
that's
But
okay.
yeah,
Like,
no, that's kind of the fun of it. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I
and
mean,
also kind of like the overwhelming aspect of it, because like the more that you get into it, you find more and more characters that you want to do, to the point where you've
right.
got like this giant ass list of all the characters you want to do,
Yeah,
and like
goal.
not nearly enough time or resources to actually do them.
Yeah. And like I don't know about you, but sometimes my inspiration like waxes and wanes. Like Tay can tell you, like I'll have like a weeks where I'm like, all right, girl, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna make some shit and it's gonna be wild. And then there's times where I just don't have a lot of
100%.
motivation for stuff and I'm just kind of stagnant. Do you kind of experience that too?
I feel like every artistic person definitely runs into that kind of like artist block.
Okay.
I feel like regardless of whatever medium you're in, it's always going to happen, and especially as like life happens. Here we are coming out, the pandemic, and
Yeah.
it's weird because during the pandemic it was like a weirdly good time for us because we were stuck at
Yeah.
home, and it forced me to like work on costumes and kind of set up our own like makeshift like photo studio.
Mhm.
And like during that time, that's when a lot of our shit kind of took off. And regardless of where you are in your life, it's like it's
Mhm.
always something to come back to, but
Right.
it's always your own like self motivation, your self dedication
Right.
that like can get in the way for sure.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like part of my motivation, which Tay will probably laugh at me. Like I have a lot of songs that I go to for motivation, and I'll share them with like Tay and our network family here, and they just kind of laugh at me because sometimes I'll make reels or whatever, and it has the songs that motivated me on there. But that's a big source of like my muse is that I use songs, and it's something so silly as like I'm driving down the road and I'm listening to a song and it makes me think of something, and I'll work and listen to that song and I'll hang on to that little spark.
And so what
Nice.
she'll do is she'll share the song to us, and then she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know the visual part yet, but this is the song. And we're like, okay, I feel like
Where's
I
the
get it.
song?
And then we'll like kind of send something, and she's just like, yeah, or yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Sometimes it's also the other half of like, I don't know, I was more thinking of this, and then we like kind of play with it, and then we eventually get to the part where like we come up with this like great thing. Like this whole horror news background and intro segment was all Jen. Like she did it all by herself.
No shit.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Thanks.
yeah.
Oh my
So
God,
like
I'm gonna be hitting you up. Probably
I-
should have told me this.
I a lot of the stuff I make like isn't 100% me. Like I got to give props to Kate Lee for helping me finish it because there was something I really wanted to do, and he's like, "That'd be dope. Why, maybe we could do the." He gave me some thoughts, and I was like, let me ask Uncle Google. Oh, I found a video. Let me watch YouTube. Oh shit, let me see if I can try that. And there's times where I get really stuck on things, and I send it to Tay, and she kind of unfucks my stuck is the best way I can put it. Like she kind of like unfucks it and says like gives me some thoughts, and I can kind of move on from there. So it's never just like a one person thing. I always need help. So
For sure. No, and it's so incredible to have kind of that support system that you can just kind of bounce shit off of people, because I do
Yeah.
like, again, you need that on a shirt. Like y'all just
Like, can
found
you-
gold over here, and I need that on a
oh
shirt.
no.
I will
Yeah.
make that shirt for you because that's incredible.
Yeah, it's like please
Fucks
help me
my
unfuck my stuck. I mean, like you were saying, Jen, like it's no different than like a creative person just getting stuck, like, you know, that classic like runner who hits that brick wall and you just have to get past that certain point and you can kind of like more or less get your second wind, like, or writers have that where they get the writer's block and they just need to find their second muse, if you will. Like I get that. And you know, I have several different muses and I have several different people that help me through my fucks, more or less. So
So much.
Oh my god.
Please don't let your children
You're
watch this. I
fucking
cuss a
gold.
lot. I apologize.
Well, without further ado, I don't see any other questions in the comment section. Are you guys ready to talk about Dune?
Fuck yes.
All right,
Sorry,
let's
I'm
fucking
excited.
go. All right. Welcome to Dune. We are in the desert now. I mean, like, we're always there, but you know.
We truly are.
Deserty desert.
Live stream in
Mark,
the background.
there probably will be some spoilers in here. So if you haven't seen Dune Part 2 and care about spoilers, you might want to just like fast forward or like put us on mute during this part. I do have another transition before we go into the next part, so that's how you'll know to turn us back up with the volume wise. But just know there probably will be some spoilers in this part. Thank you for asking. Okay.
So I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen the part 2.
No, just
Since I haven't seen it, I went back and watched the 1984 Dune.
But that's completely okay because if you look at our Lord and Savior IMDb, it actually does talk about the past Dune and
Right.
how they incorporated some parts into this new Dune Part 2. But yeah,
It's so I don't know about you guys, but I kind of grew up watching Dune and I didn't really appreciate the story until I got older. A little fun tidbit about your girl Jen is that my brother and I used to chase each other around with my mom's little sewing thimbles because we thought it was the Gom Jabbar. So we try to like poke each other with it. Give you a minute to
love
Google.
that.
Because
God.
we
okay. So real question though, which finger did you? Was it your like ET phone home finger or?
it was my right index finger. Okay, that was my stabby finger. And that actually didn't come back to me until I was watching the movie. I was watching the movie and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when my brother and I used to chase each other around and my mom used to get irritated because we'd have her thimbles like around the whole house.
Oh my god.
That's
Well,
adorable.
you know.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was a fun fact about your girl Jen. So I haven't seen part 2. These two beautiful ladies have. I have little tidbits here and there to interject, but please tell me about the part 2 and how Timothy Chalamet like and Zendaya wowed us with their acting skills.
Oh.
So if you watched Dune Part 1 though, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, so it definitely led up into this movie. I really enjoyed Dune Part 2. You know, so the main part where I got so like I asked like what kind of gave you the feels. And what gave me the feels was like when they were using those thumpers to get the sandworms out and then he rode the sandworm. I was just like, yo, this is dope as fuck.
I literally turned to Nick and I'm like, if I had a dick, it would be so hard right now. Worst thing I've ever seen. Like,
total tick boner.
dude, like, Oh my god, it was the coolest
So-
thing. I'm there with you 100%, Tay. It was so cool.
I've seen this clip. So I've seen the clip of this. Like I've watched some TikToks. So in the original one, you kind of have Cal McCullen like kind of stick this thing in the worm, and he's like kind of dangling, right? And luckily the worm like does this like combat roll, thankfully, to where he's like on the top side of it. But it sounds like the one that Timothy Chalamet actually did was a lot cooler.
Yes, he was
Okay.
not hanging off the side. JJ Stingray, do you wanna talk about that a little bit? Because
Oh, you have no idea.
you seemed like you wanted to talk about this.
Oh, it's so like it's just so good because it really, especially like in this movie where I feel like the biggest accomplishment they execute really well is just how vast everything is and how big everything is. Like it really puts everything into scale, especially the sandworms. Like if I feel like if they didn't get that right, it wouldn't hold the same value. It wouldn't be as special when it came specifically to that part. But just knowing how big these things are, how they move, and then seeing something so minuscule as a human being compared to just jumping on and literally like grabbing the reins of this big ass beast.
Yeah.
It's just you like feel it in your chest. It's just so stinking cool.
Oh,
I feel like they did it so well.
They definitely did it really well.
The Logical Robot says Austin Butler is an absolute revelation. We are talking Heath Ledger Joker style transformation here. Can believe it was the same dude who played Text. I actually have a little tidbit. So he played Fade for people who didn't watch the movie, which he actually wasn't in part 1, but I knew that he was cast as Fade in part 2. And there was something about his method acting. So Tay and I were actually talking about this, where he did a lot of method acting for Elvis, and he was actually like in character and totally like absorbed in it for like 3 years, which I don't know how that dude does it. Like that's crazy. But he toned it down a lot playing Fade, which I'm glad, because I think he's kind of a sociopath.
Yeah,
that's to put it lightly.
Exactly what he was saying. Like Heath Ledger Joker, that kind of role is gonna fuck with your brain. Like, I feel like that's the role that you don't want to be fully submersed in. Like, it's a trip.
And definitely good call on his part for kind of like pulling back a little bit, because there's definitely characters that I think Evan Peters even said that when he was playing Jeffrey Dahmer, where I think he has a little bit of method, but I think he had to take a little bit of a break when he's playing Dahmer, because that kind of fucked with his head a little bit and had to kind of like ground himself with his family. So hopefully Austin Butler didn't have to do that, but do you guys agree like he did like a phenomenal performance as Fade? Okay.
JJ, do you want to say anything about that?
So full disclosure, I haven't read the books, so I don't know how he's portrayed in the books, but I feel like if I was reading it, I would probably stop reading because his character is just so fucking creepy and terrifying. Like,
really?
I don't know what it was, but there was just something about this character that just freaked me the fuck out. Like, it's a dude that you do not want to run into in a dark alley.
Because it seemed like at any
screen.
Yeah, it seemed like at any point he was gonna like slit somebody's throat.
Yeah,
like he was ready to like fuck them up.
Yeah, and the fact that he had just kind of like this harem of like concubines because he just like needed to fuck something at any given point, and like that, literally, like it's a trip. It's a trip. So, like I said, I don't know how it's portrayed in the books, but in the movie, they nailed his creepiness. Like, I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I also never read the books, but I also never saw the old movies. So, I've only seen Dune Part 1 and Dune Now Part 2. but I think that he portrayed this character really well. He even was inspired actually by Gary Oldman in The Fifth Element, which is like they both kind of. I fucking love Gary Oldman.
Me too.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman.
King.
That man is a national treasure, and just like the way that he plays his character, he has black teeth. Like his teeth are completely black. I can't explain it any more than that. Like, because it's
so creepy. It's
you
so
know, like those commercials where they have those like charcoal like toothpaste. It's like that.
Or
His
your
entire mouth is
rent.
like completely black, but his skin is paler than yours, Jen. So, like,
I was like, which one? I'm used to being the palest one in the room.
both of you.
It's just a light answer. You're paler than me. It's fine.
But yeah, like his, I don't know, like I can't say anything about the books just because I haven't read them, but like it was a really great portrayal, in my mindset anyway.
So Danielle's like, what a time to be able to tune in. Hi, Danny. Welcome. I don't know if we mentioned this, but Jen is one of our moderators of our Facebook page, and Danny is as well too. So welcome. Sorry, we're dirty. I'm even gonna
We
sugarcoat
talked
it.
about boobies for like 30 minutes. I mean,
Well,
minities.
I feel like
Boobies.
it's fine.
And Danny is pale too. So if you've never seen any pictures of Danny, she is
Painful.
quite
Yeah,
pale as well.
Yes.
80 called you out. And then Logical Robot said,
Yes.
Fayed
That's such a
oozes
good way of
evil.
putting it.
Yeah.
He oozes evil. Like,
Yeah.
bleh.
Anytime he's on screen, you know something's about to fucking go down.
I felt like I'm holding my breath a lot of
Yes.
the times. And like,
Really?
okay, so
Damn.
take, like, here we go.
Okay.
So,
I'm sitting.
my
Let's go.
let's go. As far as like how he would talk, it kind of threw me off a little bit, just because it seemed like he would have like an accent at one point, sound normal another, and then it would sound like he was trying to sound like the Baron. And
Yeah.
to the point where if they weren't actively showing him on screen, I thought it was the Baron talking.
Yeah.
And I could not figure out if that was intentional or just me being the inconsistency police.
That's interesting.
So I
It was
think that
really interesting.
maybe
You're spot
because
on.
he's
sounds like
a
it.
descendant of the Baron, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it
So
almost sounded like he would channel him.
yeah.
And like, because it sounded just like him, but it was clearly like awesome. Like, oh, did he?
So
Okay,
Logical Robot said,
the interview.
He said it was intentional.
yeah,
Okay.
he said it was intentional.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And when
Okay.
Casey nailed, like, I thought that was cool because I'm like, oh, this is so interesting.
Because
That's
the
different.
Baron wants him to kind of like take over as like the emperor and like the chosen one, if you will, for the prophecy. So yeah, like definitely, like I never actually noticed the speaking. So that was really cool that you pointed that out, because I was totally like just engrossed in it, and I was like, what's going on?
No, it was throwing me for a loop because I'm like, what is happening right now? Because at one point he almost sounded like he had like a southern accent, and I'm like, okay, wait, like, what is happening? But no, that makes sense. If that was intentional, then he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
At one point,
Good
I could
ears.
not distinguish the difference between him and what's his name? I always want to call. I don't know if you guys listen to How Did This Get Made, but they refer to Skarsgård as Stellar Skateboard. So in my head, I always call him Stellar Skateboard.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So he sounded identical to Stellar Skateboard.
So,
Oh man.
speaking of Mr. Skarsgård, so it said that his makeup to become the Baron actually took what was it, Tay? Like 8 hours?
It was 8 hours to put on during the day, and then to take it off, if I'm not incorrect, I think it was 2 hours, right?
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
take it all off at the end of shooting, which is amazing. I can only imagine like how long somebody would feel comfortable just sitting there like for 8 hours. Like right now, we are an hour and 10 minutes into the podcast, right? So can you imagine at least for another 50 minutes just sitting there as someone's taking all of this makeup off of you?
No, I can't. I actually also read that he took Imodium so he wouldn't have to use the bathroom.
Oh.
I was like, well, when I was reading it, I was like, Jared, do you know what Imodium is for? And he said he took Imodium so he wouldn't have to use the bathroom. Like, can you imagine?
That is
like, that just reminds me of Emilia Clarke when she was playing Daenerys. And you remember that scene where she's like eating the heart of a horse when she was pregnant? Yeah, that part. Well, I remember she said in between, like, trying to film the scene, she went to go use the bathroom and she had to have help because all the fake blood that was on her, she got stuck on the toilet. So I can only imagine, like, can you imagine, like, I can't. Imagine we have a situation.
So did they use like acetone to like remove her from the toilet? Like, do they have like cotton balls to?
I don't want acetone in my ass. I guess I'm gonna have a choice. Like if I was like stuck on the toilet, like what do you do? Like I guess at that point, once you phone a friend, you just gotta like accept the help at that time.
I mean, I'm assuming she would like flush before like she would ask for help or whatever, but like at the same time, like at least acetone would help you kind of come off the toilet rather than just like ripping you off like a Band-Aid.
Like in Bob's Burgers when he gets glued to the toilet seat.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. And like as a cosplayer, I feel like that's like my worst fear. And I feel like I'm slowly headed down that road where I'm eventually going to find myself in a costume that literally takes hours to get into and hours to get out of. Yeah. And it's all self-inflicted and I have no one to be mad at but myself.
No. Yeah. Like, how would you like?
This is exactly how I feel when I wear onesies or any type of like romper. Like you have to like maneuver your way out of it and then you're just kind of like holding it while you go to the bathroom and like, all right, well,
you're basically naked.
Like, no, you really are. And nobody
and
talks about that. Why doesn't anybody talk about that?
For what I talk about all the time. I know we met, but we can talk about this.
Because you can unzip it, but who's going to zip it back up? Like, you have to kind of like hold yourself together.
Friends, man. Like,
and can you just, thanks.
Like everyone in the bathroom, it's the most unifying experience, I feel like, to be in a romper because you have to have friends.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've been in that situation where I've had a girl be like, hey, could you have like, yeah, girl, I got you.
Yeah, I've been on both sides.
I know. Like, I want to do more. Like, do you need anything else? Like, I got you, girl. Like,
right? I'm already in the mind.
Let me fix your hair.
Yeah.
Need a little stunt.
Let me fix your crown, queen. Like, I know. We already here.
Dude, it's the best. So one of the questions I had for you ladies, since I haven't seen this and you have, the Dune navigators. So, what's a non-dirty way I can like describe these things for people who don't know what they are? So they look like giant skinless whales. So they're basically like the creatures who were, I don't know if they had these in these. They had them in the 1984 version. So they're the humanoids that took spice for like hundreds, almost thousands of years. And they actually kind of made them mutate in a sense.
Ooh.
I do not remember this in Dune Part 2. Is it?
Not in Part 2. Could that be the spider thing from the first one? That
yes.
Yeah, that Baron Harkonnen had that like didn't talk but was like eating out of like the bowl on the floor. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't. Really, let me
Wordsworth is
really
very
enjoying your
accurate.
pantomime. I love. Oh my god! Oh my. Let me
Sorry.
see if I can find a picture. Spider thing off Dune. Is that what I'm googling? Let me Google this.
Careful
Like,
what you Google.
It looks like a multi-limbed gimp that is like eating out of a bowl. And like when what's her tits came in, that Reverend Mother or
Yeah.
whatever, and they went into like the cone of silence, and she's like, "It can understand us. Get it the fuck out of here!" Like, and it like skittled.
Ew.
Yeah, it's awful. I don't know if that's what you're talking. I'm sorry if I just completely derailed what you were saying.
No, you're completely fine
Oh,
because I'm
you're
completely
fine.
lost on what's going on,
was
and
such a
apparently AD
small
is as
scene.
well. Doesn't know what he's talking about, but he loves the attempt. Jen, that's a white
Anyone know
screen.
what the fuck I'm talking about?
Here, coming.
It was such a short scene, but apparently it's pretty like imperative compared to like the books, like that particular character or yes, that fucking thing.
Is that
Like,
it?
bleh. Yeah, so we're looking at its
What
ass
is
right
that?
now, but its
Yo,
head is down in
that's
the
not
bowl.
Is that the
hand.
butt or the head?
Yeah, no, we're
Oh,
looking
that's
at
the
the
butt.
ass right now.
Got it.
That's the butt.
Oh, I see the butt crack. We got it.
It's the butt.
Ew,
Don't
it's
touch
got
the butt.
hands. That's gross.
No,
It's
it's
so
literally
gross.
got hands.
But
Is
it
that
looks
a
like it's wearing
butt?
like a fucking like wetsuit, and it's just like I don't think it has eyes or anything, and it's just like slurping out of that bowl.
I do
It's
not
like the
remember
most
this.
dramatic scene
Oh,
of that
God.
entire first movie. It's so off-putting.
Is it? It looks slimy. Okay, so this is supposed to be the guild navigator.
Oh, so this is like the navigator that you're
Is
talking
that what that is?
Oh.
I don't know.
This is the first time I remember seeing this thing. I probably blocked
really?
this
Because
out
it
of
like
my
haunted
brain.
my dreams after I saw that first one. I'm like, the fuck is that? Why is no one talking about it?
What is this?
Yeah,
Because
seriously,
nobody
burn it.
wants to talk about it.
Fucking burn it.
Turn it. Oh man.
You
I
all have
don't
to be traumatized with me. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but I never want to see another one. Oh no.
Oh
Jen left. We're unsupervised. It's my hand. But anyway, I definitely did have to like go pee in the middle of this at some point. So like I like looked at my husband and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom because I was drinking a beer. And I like ran off to go to the bathroom. I like scurried away and I came back and I was like, what happened? He was like, they kissed. And I was just like, what? So apparently
No.
Paul Atreus and
No.
I couldn't figure out what happened. I was like,
my computer got mad. Like, no, you're not gonna scream. Like,
I know. We're like, where'd she go?
I won't do that anymore. I'm so sorry. I just thought it'd be fun to look up the spider monster.
See,
Rude.
like we're just not meant to be technologically advanced in this stream.
Apparently, no.
Barely
agree.
here.
I agree with Danielle. I would set fire to whatever was nearby.
Yeah.
Like, that's too much like spider. Like, no.
Like, I remember scrunching up in my seat when I saw it. I'm like, the fuck is that? Oh, horrendous.
you said this was in Dune Part 1? That
Yeah, it was in the first one.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to rewatch it now.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I'll have to rewatch it too.
Be
'cause
traumatized with me.
No problem.
I have to be aware, you have to be aware.
I'm all about trying out traumatizing things. I'm
Hey.
And trauma. That's how we get by.
down. So I'm not sure if those are the Dune navigators that they
Yeah, I don't know what it
talked about. Or if it's like some sort of like mutation, but the first one had this anyways, they used to be human, and like for thousands of years they used to like consume the spice, and they mutated into like what I could only like describe as being like this like giant whale looking creature that like has no skin. And I honestly would love to show you a picture, but I would probably get booted out again. So please look at it at your leisure.
Will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was in part 2. Based on what you're describing, there's nothing that sounds like that.
No, the only thing they rode the worms.
Yeah,
get
that
to
was
the
really
south.
the only creature in part 2 were the
Yeah.
worms.
So it kind of sounds like they're going.
Oh,
I mean,
ew.
that did you find it? Your
Lucky
face.
me.
Oh my god! Yes,
Ew.
it's gross. It's got like a double vagina for a mouth. It's disgusting. Like when you watch it talk.
Oh.
That's the best way I can describe it. Sorry,
Not
that's
have
what it
those in the
looks like.
second one. I can tell you that right now.
And they kind of like float in like this orange gas, but they're actually responsible for like guiding the ships. I guess from like one point to another, there's a lot of like gravitational obstacles from what I remember watching in the movie, and they need the spice because the spice helps them basically guide them through it. Like it gives them like, I don't know how to like
It's
describe
like
it.
this universe is like dark matter. Like
Yeah.
pretty much use it to navigate like I don't want to say interdimensionally, but interstellarly, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the scientific term.
Kind of the same concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but they're submerged in this like orange spice gas that they're constantly like, so I kind of think of it as like you know, like a stoner like constantly like getting their hit like and just like being immersed in like the pot smoke.
Now seeing that creature and then applying like that personality to it, can you imagine?
Like,
it just put up to like, dude. But it had like a vagina face.
You remember the caterpillar from like Alice in Wonderland?
Oh yeah, like
that's what I'm getting from
yeah,
this.
the caterpillar.
Like, yeah, the one that was like smoking on the hookah. Yeah,
that's pretty fucking accurate. That's
okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you looked it up, Tay. You may not.
No, straight up did not.
Okay, good.
Thing of nightmares.
Yeah, man.
Jonas and the Nightmares.
I feel like that was payback for making you look up the other guy, but it's fine.
But
oh man.
We're all friends here.
So it kind of sounds like from what I've read and what you guys are talking about, I mean, again, I'm with you guys, like I haven't read the book, but it kind of sounds like they're going more towards the book, and it kind of sounds like they're taking their time telling the story.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So funny that you say that, actually, because expectations going forward, they actually have started the Dune 3 script outline, by the way. It is actually going to be based off the plot of the Dune 2 book, so the Dune Messiah. So a continuation off of what's going on here. So I feel like they're playing the long game off of the franchise, but JJ, what do you think? Because you said not really, so I want to know your thoughts.
So really the biggest qualm that I had with part 2, which isn't saying much because I fucking love the movie. Like, this is literally just kind of me being like nitpicky. I felt like the pacing was really off, and kind of talking to Nick and kind of doing my own research, I kind of figured out why. So like pretty much the span of his and I always forget her name, Chani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their relationship in the movie, it's portrayed over like the course of like a few months. Like, his mom is still pregnant that whole time. They're kind of getting like used to each other. But in the books, by the time he faces off with Fade, he and Chani have had like 3 kids. It's been over the course of years. Like, he's been immersed in this world for years at this point. His sister had been born. She actually, in the books, she was the one that killed the Baron at like 2 years old, because she pretty much came out of the vajayjay like fully developed and like this hardcore badass military like prodigy.
Right.
And
Because
so
her, yeah,
because of the what was it, the water of life.
right.
Yeah.
So, and at first I was like, wow, so literally they took decades worth of like relationship building and kind of empire building for Paul and condensed it into a few months in the movie, which is why their relationship felt very new, because they tried to play it off like it was new. Whereas in the book, they were well established before, and he had actually talked to Chani about taking the princess as his bride, and he was like fully aware, and she was. It's kind of weird because in the books it seems like she's way more docile than like how Zendaya portrays her, where she's like the strong-willed person. But it's so weird. So that's kind of where I'm at with like the pacing of it, because it's like, okay, so he's at this point well established. They see him as their like messiah, all this stuff.
Right.
But it's only over the course of a few months, whereas the books it's literally like decades. So I thought that was kind of weird. So
I wonder why they did that.
And that's where I'm at. So I'm like,
you could take your time. You're rebooting this. Like they
exactly
did that in 1984 movie where I feel like they covered so much stuff, and like I feel like people now need to see more of a relationship and that character building.
Yeah.
Versus
I totally
like
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was weird. And then also the fact that they had Chani respond the way that she did to him taking the princess as his wife, that doesn't happen in the book. It was like a fully communicated, like militaristic exchange. Like he loved Chani. They were each other's soulmates. Like it was only pretty much a marriage of convenience.
That was played by Florence Pugh, right? Or
yeah.
Poe?
Yeah. That one chick. But so it's kind of weird to see where they're going with it in the movies, because now we have Zendaya, Chani, whatever, almost like now his enemy, like his nemesis moving forward. So
what?
It's
really
it's very bizarre. So I'm not really sure where they're going with it, which is like why I was saying that I felt apprehensive, because I'm like, that is such a glaze over a lot of things that happen, and some of them I understand. Like it's kind of hard to cinematically like portray this 2-year-old killing the Baron Harkonnen. Like I can see how it would be very fucking weird to convey in a 2024 movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of his sister's younger years and development are really crucial to the rest of the book.
Yeah, but like you can also hear her talking through like her mother's womb, like in part 2, and I thought that was pretty interesting, because
that is interesting.
Reverend Mother, it did, because Reverend Mother was like, she was like talking, and she's like, she wants to ask you this, and I was just like, is she asking or are you asking? And then like when the baby was actually talking, like whilst in the uterus or whatever womb thing, I was just like,
hated it.
I don't like this.
Yeah,
it's weird.
The only thing that I kind of liked from the 1984 movie. Now, correct me if they did that. I don't remember it from part 1, but I do like how there's. So I'm a big book nerd, and there's a lot of things that I think I'm hearing you say, JJ, that don't quite get from the book to the screen, because a lot of it is like internal thoughts and dialogue, like within characters. And I think with I can at least say for the 1984 Dune is that they would actually have them speak it out loud, but you can see the character just standing there and kind of like feeling that emotion, but of course their mouth isn't moving because they're thinking it. I kind of wish they would do that a little bit more with present cinema, because I think there are things that people miss.
Yeah.
That aren't
I can see that. And like it's always weird when it comes to trying to move the story along in such a way. Because like you said, it's real easy when you're writing it on paper.
Right.
It's so easy to say this person thought this, but to convey that on screen, and absolutely. feel like that's very difficult, and especially in these books where that's most of it, because that's where we see a lot of like Paul's plight. Is a lot of this stuff is internalized,
right? And that doesn't always get conveyed on screen.
Yeah,
You know, there's only so much emotion you can show, but you know, you can go through like 10 pages in a book and like 10 seconds of screen time, but do you actually convey what's going on?
Does the point get across? Because
that's
otherwise it's kind of a moot point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that.
So Kenpachi says, do they ever say what spice does in the new movie?
They're very vague about it. So they talk about how it's used for space exploration and travel,
right?
But then how also like some of like the ancient like populations will use it as like an hallucinogenic or like a way to like connect with the universe.
Right.
But it's very brief, which is funny because I know that's like a huge thing in the book. Like everything is about this.
Right.
Yeah, so that's and even in the beginning of the movies, which is straight from the book, is like he who controls the spice like controls the universe or whatever.
Right.
And it's very true, but I feel like it's very secondary in the movies. Kind of like, well, they're like, oh, well, this is the plot, but it's more like a way to perpetuate the plot than it is like the actual plot, if that makes sense.
No, because I mean, like they were going out to like destroy the spice machines that were like harvesting, but they never really went further from that. Like that was their like whole
how
end
devastating that really was.
Yeah.
Like, because Kyle MacLachlan said it in the one in 84 where he takes like a piece of spice and he eats it, and then I remember later he confronts his mother. He's like, you brought something like, you brought me here on purpose, you knew this would change me. And it almost had like a not quite like the way they portrayed it was kind of like almost like a psychedelic effect, but it changed him on like a subconscious level, where there was something that his father said where, you know, you can't, something about like, you can't always, I get the wording wrong, but you can't always be stagnant. You fall asleep inside. You have to go out and do new things, and you have to awaken the sleeper. And that was a big underlying thing during that movie, was that he wanted to awaken the sleeper per se. And then I want to say that was about the time that he made it rain on Arrakis or something like that. Like, I'm awakening my sleeper. Where it's almost like the spice like helped him awaken that part of himself, where, and I don't know if they ever really talk about the powers.
No, especially in these new movies. Like I said, it's very vague.
Yeah, I mean, like they got the water of life, and that's how they got to see kind of like their past and their future.
Right.
So maybe later on in part 3 of Dune, like we'll get to see the rain, but it wasn't in Dune part 2.
That was mostly in relation to the Bene Gesserit. Like they really didn't give like an in-depth portrayal of like Paul and how it affected him. Like they showed him kind of have like that coughing fit, like he took too long a drag kind of thing. And it's like it's so much more than that. Like you said, like it affected his mind, body, and soul. And just
all of us, Paul.
They're like, okay, he just can't hold his shit. Like that's kind of how it is.
Don't take so long of a drag.
Yeah.
Damn. Lightweight. Well, I thought it was kind of cool in like part 1, where it was like just after him and his mom crashed, and he seems to be having like one of his like kind of like fast forward visions, I think, where he sees Chani and he can actually see the spice.
Yeah,
floating
he sees it in the air. Yeah,
he sees it in the air. So even if you don't actually like taste it, take a piece and consume it, like it's in the air. And I love like the undertone of like the like part of the movie was the spice is the worm is the spice. Like he kept trying to make that connection. Like, does he make it in part 2? That connection?
Honestly, I feel like they did do a really good job of connecting those two in the second. Because
okay.
you feel, or at least I felt like they did a better job of portraying the sandworms as like their gods and how they were pretty much at, I guess, like the whim of the sandworms, and they were kind of the all determining entities in their culture, and
Like the
how
Fremen?
that was directly, with the Fremen, and like how that's pretty much directly linked with the spice and Arrakis, and their whole existence is because of the sandworms.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job.
Can I just say that, again, I know we're supposed to be talking about part 2, but part 1, when Paul and his mom are running and they finally get to that like solid piece of rock, and Paul's just laying there and that sandworm is just up and it's like kind of looking at him. I got like, I'm getting chills right now. Like I got like the biggest chills in my arm, because you don't see that in the 84 film, which I think they did like a sublime job of showing how sentient that worm is. Like it sees him, and Paul doesn't even know, but that worm knows like what he is.
Yeah.
You know, like
they really build off of that in the second one. I think.
Do they?
They connect that so well.
Okay.
Like, yeah. And honestly, for me, like, so in the first one, like, full disclosure, I wasn't completely sold on Timothée Chalamet as Paul. I was like, I felt like they just, threw like a popular actor in, like, name recognition, but the second one solidified it for me. I'm like, holy shit, he's
amazing. He really gets into character.
Yes, he does. So good. Like, I wanted to hate him. But like, he did so good. Like,
part of me does, because of what I'm a fear of what he's going to become. But
yeah.
So there's like that, like, I'm so proud of him for getting to where he's at, but at the same time, he's going to turn into like
Anakin-esque.
Like, yes, or Anakin. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been trying not to Star Wars like comparisons, but goddamn, it's really hard. Like,
yeah,
no.
But no, very
yeah.
It's very much kind of Anakin's, path into the dark side and becoming Darth Vader. It's very similar.
Yeah. He drinks like the water of life and becomes like, I am the prophet who will lead you to paradise. Like, you have to follow me or you will die. Like, that is it.
Ooh. And honestly, I think Jessica was like the scariest part of that whole movie, because like the idea of just like this overzealous person who's trying to sell an entire culture on the belief that her son is like the Messiah. She was terrifying. Like,
really?
Yeah.
She freaked me out. I was like, oh, it's like any like sketchy ass like pastor that's like going around and trying to sell you on shit. Like, it's that same vibe, just like a really like overzealous religious person that's just trying to manipulate and like destroy people.
It's like a cult.
Yeah, very cultish, and it's culty. Yeah, very trippy. So she was a trip.
So do they use any of the weirding way?
What do you mean?
Techniques. So the guns that they use where they go shaw and they shoots. The guns?
No.
I just really like your sound effect. Can you do it again?
You like it?
Maybe. Like, okay, so like the gun or like the
what are they?
Shield?
May
or do you actually mean like the gun?
So I'm talking about the gun. So they called it like, I think they called it the weirding way. It's like a certain way of fighting. So they almost had like thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
Seriously, yeah, clip the crap out of that. That was amazing.
So there was a part where he said that the Ben Gesserit, we will teach you the weirding way, where they use these guns where you make sound, and one of the sounds that's like shaka cha, and it shoots and it blows up like this pillar. Like, I'm going by the 84 movie. Okay, I haven't seen it. Shut up. I see you, Tay.
I'm trying to keep it together over here.
I'm not.
I would show you a clip from my computer, but like, no, we're not doing that.
No,
today.
it's fine. You can share it
Fuck you,
later.
computer.
I
I'm
Okay.
gonna do
cannot
the sound
think
effects.
of
Jedi mind tricks. me, Barney.
anything that you were talking.
Yeah, so there's nothing like that in the current movies, I feel
No?
like they
Okay.
never reference that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the Kimpati says.
I don't even
thought
think
the
there's a
weirding way was like
gun.
the Jedi mind trick. They
The
speak a word
word
and makes
and
that
makes it-
someone do
So
something.
that's the voice.
That's yeah.
Yeah, with
Kimpati,
the
that's
voice where
What
they
that.
It's kind of like the Jedi minding trick, whereas I think the weirding way is more like an actual fight style.
Yeah. Jessica uses it against the leader of the Fremen. I think that was how she and AD's got my back. Thanks, AD. My bro. I think I read something about that was how Jessica initially defeated him, where it's like a mind trick where she makes it seem like she's moving faster or something.
Ooh.
But I think the weapon had something to do with it.
I don't even
Curious. Does
remember.
anyone know, like in the comments, like because
Anybody know?
that's
about the
interesting as fuck.
weirding way. Because I'm all about weird
And
stuff.
I love the name for it too, the weirding way.
The weirding way. I
That's
know.
how I live my life, the weirding way.
Weirding
Love it.
way. So that sounds like part 2 does not disappoint. I think
Nope.
just the worms alone I find intriguing. So yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm glad Timothy Chalamet does not disappoint, because I'm with you, Jen, that I was kind of disappointed at first, but I've seen him in other movies that he does a good job in them.
They
So
want
when
to look like Sarlacc when they come out of the, the sand with their mouths, with the teeth. Do you know what a Sarlacc is? Okay, so in Star Wars, that giant.
Okay.
bit with
I think I missed that first
Yes.
part. You kind of like cut out, and I'm like, what? But yeah,
no.
what Boba Fett falls into.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Which I
teeth.
can never remember the name. Don't come at me, Star Wars fans. Like,
Yes.
I never remember the name. I don't remember shit.
No, you're completely fine.
I just know
We're
the
on
feeling I
Star
get when I watch them, and that's how I know I like it.
Same. Don't ask me for names.
Bitch,
Yeah.
I can barely remember my own most days. You kidding me? Like, no.
All right, Jen, are you ready for some final shots and thoughts?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. All right, and welcome to the final shots and thoughts part of the episode. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you for JJ Stingray for coming out and giving us your thoughts about Dune, and your interview was just like so amazing. I cannot thank you enough for the awesome laughs of tonight. I think, Jen, this side, completely agrees with what I'm saying. It's been a super pleasure to have you on tonight. Or today, I guess, regular part of the day for Arizona. It's like almost 5 o'clock. It's like 4:30 ish.
We started at 2.
Right. So for all of you that didn't know, our Fallen Star part 8 of our tabletop RPG role-playing game, for those that don't know, is out. It came out on Friday, so yesterday. So tune in. We have a really big fight scene that we have in this one, and we finally get out of the caverns. So tune in for that, because it was a beast to get through and get out of, literally.
Literally.
And JJ Stingray, you want to tell us a little bit about Phoenix Fan Fusion?
That I do.
Oh.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, so we are, oh gosh, I think we're only about like 55 days out from Phoenix Fan Fusion. Not that I'm counting. But so originally, Jen, I think when we last talked about it, my group was going to have a booth there, but all our members are so incredibly involved in the local like cosplay and nerd scene. Almost all of them are working, panels, putting on performances. So we actually had to X-nay on our booth. Otherwise, I'd be happy to drop the information here. But me and like my family, we plan to be there the entire weekend. I'm probably going to have like 4 or 5 different costumes, which apparently I just hate myself. So I don't know why I do this. I love it, but I don't know why. But it's gonna be a good time. They've been announcing a bunch of guests that I am super excited to see. This might be the first, well, I guess second year that I actually opt for like photo ops and autographs because they got a killer lineup so far. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and that is May 24th through the 26th, so Memorial Day weekend. And it's gonna be hot as balls.
Oh my god, it is. Oh man.
I wish they did this shit in January. Like, it's
or
just
even
so
right
hot.
now. Like, because right now
right now is beautiful.
Yeah.
By the end of May, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, because you're getting into June and it only gets hotter from there.
Nope.
Oh god.
It's gonna be fun.
But yeah, I look forward to actually meeting you and Jen, the other half as well. I'm meeting both Jens. Maybe since you're in Arizona and I'm in Arizona, we might meet up sooner. So we'll try that out. But if not, no big deal. We have Phoenix Fan Fusion to look forward to. Regardless if you have a booth or not, like I cannot wait to meet you. It was a super pleasure, to have you on.
Thank you. No, thank you guys so much for dealing with the bullshit of the last time when I was supposed to be on.
Wow.
You're completely fine.
So flexible and accommodating because I have been like dying to jump on here with y'all. And like I said, put voices to the faces, and you guys are just both so like freaking like adorable.
Aww.
And like so much fun. So like anytime I will be your default. Like I'd love to come on again.
Yes.
You're welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
Queen.
All right, Jen, you got anything for closing remarks and shots and thoughts and things?
No. Caveat what you said. Please check out our tabletop role-playing game. We're uber nerding it over there. And Jen, I'll tell you, I haven't met you in person either. But Jen, I hope we get to meet up too, and maybe get some pictures that we can show all of our fans. And yeah, I really look forward to the Phoenix Fan Fusion. I'm super excited to come out, and my buddy Willie's coming, and our friend Deontay from Saturday Night Nerds and Calmly Clean Klein is going to be there too. So we're super excited.
That's
it's gonna be a big old nerd party, and I love it.
I love it.
Can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and play our outro. Thank you again so much, JJ, for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, y'all. Peace.
Bye.